Hello and welcome to biology class. We are studying topic kingdom Animalia, and so many days we are studying criteria for animal classification. Now, so many days we are studying criteria for classification of this kingdom, and today actually we are going to deal with classification of this kingdom. So basically we will apply those criteria and classify animals into different phylums. In this video particularly, we are going to study classification chart of animals. Like kingdom Animalia, how it is further classified, that we are going to study in this video. And then in the upcoming videos, we will study each phylum, their characteristics and example in details. In today's video, I want you to make a classification chart of this kingdom, that is kingdom Animalia, along with me. So take your notebook and start drawing classification chart along with me. While drawing this chart, make sure that you use a full page of your notebook, because basically your notebook is pretty small and this chart is quite larger chart, so it won't fit on the page of your notebook. So what you do is, don't hold your notebook vertically like this, okay? Hold your notebook horizontally like this, okay? Hold your notebook like this, take a full page and then start drawing the chart along with me. I will give you instructions while drawing the chart how you should draw it, as well as I will explain you animal classification in the process of drawing the chart. So let us begin drawing the chart of animal classification, as well as let us try to understand animal classification in details. So take your notebook and take your pen and start drawing along with me. So at the center, and be sure that you are taking whole page, and whole complete chart should be on one page, otherwise you will not understand it. So take your notebook, take your pen and start drawing the animal classification chart. So let us begin classification of kingdom Animalia. So at the center of your page, on the upside, write kingdom Animalia. Kingdom Animalia. Now when we consider this kingdom, that is all animals are included in this kingdom, basically kingdom Animalia is basically classified into two broad sections. One section, suppose here I am writing it on left hand side, okay, this section include all the animals which don't have notochord. Don't have notochord. So they are called as non-chordates. What does they are called as? Non-chordates. On the other hand, another section, another large group of animals are the animals they are having notochord. They are called as chordates. Now do you remember what exactly the notochord is? What exactly is the notochord? Notochord is the advanced structure, a rod-like structure or rope-like structure passing through the dorsal side of the animal's body. Now some scientists think that this must be this should be the subkingdoms. Means according to some scientists, not all, according to some scientists, kingdom Animalia is classified into two subkingdoms, non-chordates and chordates. But in our book, these subkingdoms are not considered. So according to our textbook, the animal classification Animalia are directly classified as into phylums. So we will just directly consider the classification into phylums, but we have to consider this section. So we will not write them as a subkingdom. We will just write them as a two sections. Clear about it? And what is the basis of making this section? Either presence or absence of notochord. Understanding? So there are around 10 different phylums included in non-chordates, and only one phylum is included in chordata. So remember the basic basic animals, the primitive animals are in the non-chordates, okay, and advanced animals are in the chordates. So let us begin our classification with non-chordates. Now when we consider non-chordates, the first phylum of the Animalia is included in non-chordate, and it includes most basic animals, most primitive animals. And the first phylum of kingdom Animalia is nothing but phylum Porifera. Are you drawing along with me? Draw along with me. And now poriferans are including sponges. Okay, we will study all detailed characteristics of Porifera afterward, but right now you need to understand Porifera include sponges. Now second phylum, okay, second phylum is phylum Cnidaria. Phylum Cnidaria, which include our favorite Hydra and other corals. Okay, we are going to study details about it, but right now just remember what kind of just take an overall idea what type of animals are included in each phylum. Now Porifera are the most primitive animals, Cnidaria little bit advanced. Then the third phylum is phylum Ctenophora. Now Ctenophora include some different kind of animals which we are not much familiar with these animals. They include animals like Pleurobrachia. We are not much familiar with these animals basically, but try to remember them. Let me take it little bit up and you also write properly in one line. Then the fourth phylum of kingdom Animalia is phylum Platyhelminthes. Now Platyhelminthes, a known animal to you people is Planaria. Planaria, which you have studied regeneration in Planaria, that Planaria is included in phylum Platyhelminthes, which is the fourth phylum and little bit advanced than that of the Ctenophora. Then fifth phylum is phylum Aschelminthes. Now Aschelminthes, little bit advanced than the Platyhelminthes. Disease causing animals it include, and it include the animal which causes elephantiasis, the animal which causes different diseases like liver fluke, like different animals. So basically here we will consider an example, one animal called as a blood fluke, which we are going to study in details when we study Aschelminthes. Then sixth phylum included in this kingdom is called as Annelida. Now Annelida is very familiar to us. It include earthworm. It include what? Earthworm. Now next, it is little bit advanced than that of the Aschelminthes. Then seventh phylum included in this kingdom is Annelida. After Annelida, Arthropoda. Now Arthropoda include many familiar animals. It include insects, all the insects. It include crab, it includes spider, it include everything. I'll write here spider. Okay. Then the eighth phylum of the kingdom is phylum Mollusca. Phylum Mollusca. Now phylum Mollusca include octopus. I'm just taking familiar example. Actually they are including number of different animals. Now write spellings properly and try to remember pronunciations as well as spellings. Now the ninth phylum of included in the non-chordate is phylum Echinodermata. What the name of phylum? Echinodermata. Now Echinodermata is the one which includes starfish. What does it include? Starfish. There are some other and very beautiful animals. We will study them ahead. And last phylum of non-chordate is the phylum known as Hemichordata. Called Hemichordata. Now Hemichordata animals are also not much familiar to us because they are basically staying at the floor of the ocean. So one example I'll just write and we will study them afterward. It is called as Belanoglossus. Belanoglossus. Okay. So these are the 10 phylums which are included in the non-chordates. Just look at their list. Non-chordates include 10 phylum. First one is the Porifera, then Cnidaria, then Ctenophora, then next one is the Platyhelminthes, next one is the Aschelminthes, then Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata and Hemichordata. Now you try to remember all these animals in sequence. It will be very helpful for you if you remember all of them in sequence, because their characteristics become little bit advanced one by one and it will be very helpful for you to understand them. Okay. So clear about it? Have you wrote this? We'll go ahead to the chordate point. So let us consider the classification of chordates. Now when we consider these chordates include only single phylum called as phylum Chordata. Now this phylum include all the animals which are advanced than the previous phylum. So let us, and remember all other these 10 phylums we are just going to study their characteristic, phylum wise characteristic. But when we come to the phylum Chordata, we are going to study detailed classification of this phylum Chordata. So we will just take an overview of the Chordata classification and then we will learn that classification in details in the future videos. So let us make a chart of classification of Chordata. Remember, you are writing it, so write it in such a way that leave some space for this further classification. Okay, don't make it mess. Now one more thing, if you made a mistake that you don't have any place to write this Chordata classification, then write the further classification on next page, but it will be little confusing for you. So try to fit it in one page. If you cannot, just start with the new page. Now when we consider this phylum Chordata, see, this is a phylum. So further it is classified into subphylums. Now this subphylum classification is basically based on fate of notochord. Now when I consider fate of notochord, fate means future. Fate means what? Future. What exactly happened to the notochord after? Fate of notochord means future of notochord. What exactly happened to the notochord when the animal grew? Okay, so that characteristic is considered, and this Chordata is classified into 3 different subphylums. Okay, so first subphylum is called as Urochordata. What does it called as? Urochordata. Second subphylum is called as the Cephalochordata. And third one is called as Vertebrata. Now when I consider this Urochordata, see, the classification is based on fate of notochord. What exactly happened to the notochord in the life of animal? So Urochordata basically include animals which have notochord only for some stages of their life. Notochord is present only at some stages of life. Okay, Cephalochordata are the one who possess complete notochord, who show complete notochord throughout their life. Throughout life. Understanding? And in case of vertebrata, notochord is replaced by, means notochord was present in the embryonic condition, but it is replaced by vertebral column. Vertebral column is advanced structure as compared to notochord, and basically this vertebral column is a bony structure. Either it is made up of bones or cartilage, and it provide a complete protection for the nervous system. Understanding? So let us consider, so urochordata and cephalochordata detailed classification again we are not studying, but as very advanced animals are included in vertebrata, we are going to study detailed classification of vertebrata. So let us make this detailed classification only of vertebrata. So I am making classification of vertebrata into the further parts. So this subphylum vertebrata is afterward divided into divisions. It is divided into divisions. Now this classification of subphylum vertebrata into divisions, it is on the basis of whether those animals are having jaws or not, means either presence or absence of jaw. Do you understand what jaw means? Jaw means this. Okay, we are having jaw, so we are come under presence of jaw. Okay, and some animals are without jaw. Now the animals without jaw, this division of vertebrata which is without jaw is called as agnathostoma. Agnathostomata. Okay, A means no, gnatha means jaw. Okay, A means no, gnatha means jaw. So the group without jaw is called as agnathostomata. And when we consider this these agnathostomata, it include, like, when evolution of animals takes place, that time on earth before dinosaurs and all, like lot of agnathostomata there on earth, or basically there in the ocean, but afterward they got extinct, and right now nowadays only one class of this agnathostomata is remaining. The name of that class is cyclostomata. Cyclostomata. So there is only one class under agnathostomata, nothing but cyclostomata. Clear about it? So let us go to the another classification, that is presence of jaw. Now the animals with jaw are called as gnathostomata. A means no. If we remove a, then it will be gnathostomata. Gnathostomata. Now when we consider this gnathostomata, all the advanced animals are included in gnathostomata. Now let us consider these animals in the gnathostomata. Now when we consider animals in the gnathostomata, again large number of different variety of animals are included. So this gnathostomata division is further classified into subdivisions. So gnathostomata subdivisions. Now this subdivision is made on the basis of their locomotory organs. Locomotory organs. Now locomotory organs in the animals, so gnathostomata divided into subdivisions, and this subdivision is on the basis of locomotory organs. Locomotory organs. Now the aquatic animals, aquatic gnathostomata is basically they swim with the help of fins. So locomotory organs are fins. Okay, the animals which are having fins as a locomotory organs, they are called as pisces. Pisces nothing but fish. So here locomotion by fins. Locomotion by fins. Okay, and on the other hand, the locomotion with the animals with 4 legs, means like 2 hands we are having and 2 feet we are having. Likewise, cows and all are having 2 front legs and 2 back legs. Likewise, birds are having 2 wings and 2 legs. Amphibians are having 4 legs. So all the animals with 4 legs, okay, or 4 appendages, they are called as tetrapoda. So the animals who do tetrapoda. So the animals who do movement with the help of legs, okay, poda means legs, okay, and the animals with 4 legs. Tetra means 4, poda means legs. So animals with 4 legs come under tetrapoda. Understanding? Now let us consider so I am just writing movement with the help of legs. Movement, legs. Okay. So the Pisces, the subdivision Pisces is further classified into 2 classes. What is the classification? The subdivision is classified into 2 classes. The 2 classes are Now, to make the classes, endoskeleton is considered. What type of endoskeleton is present in these animals? So some kind of fish are having cartilaginous endoskeleton. For example, shark. Whole shark skeleton is made up of cartilage. Then other fish like mackerel, like sardine, these fish are having bony endoskeleton, means their endoskeleton, their bones are made up of bony bones. Okay, so this class is basically depend on what type of endoskeleton they possess. What type of endoskeleton they possess. Understanding? So there are 2 type of classes. Now names are little bit different. Try to understand them properly. The cartilaginous endoskeleton fish are called as chondrioctys. What does they are called as? Chondrioctys. Now write the spelling of chondrioctys properly. CHONDRICHTHYES. So cartilaginous endoskeleton. Endoskeleton. Okay, and on the other hand, the fish with bony endoskeleton, they are called as osteoctys. Osteo means bone. They are called as osteoctys. Okay, I also need to check several times to check their spellings. Okay, but generally we call them as a cartilaginous fish and bony fish. So here endoskeleton is bony endoskeleton. Clear about the classification of subdivision Pisces into 2 classes on the basis of endoskeleton. Cartilaginous fish called as chondrioctys and bony fish called as osteoctys. So up to this level we are going to study each class in details. So let us consider classification of tetrapoda. Let us try to understand classification of tetrapoda. Now tetrapoda are also classified into classes. Okay, but the basis of classification is little different. It is also classified into classes, but the basis of classification is a type of skin what they have. Okay, whether they are having rough skin, whether they are having glandular skin, whether they are having hair on the skin, on that basis classification is done. So the first tetrapoda are called as, the first class in the tetrapoda are called as amphibia. What does it is called as? Amphibia. So here skin is smooth and glandular. Skin is what? Smooth and glandular. Glandular means skin is provided with glands. See, frog is having that mucus gland over its skin. That's why it is slimy. So that kind of skin animals are included in amphibia. Then next class is called as reptilia. Now reptilia, rough skin and with scales, okay, like in snake. Then fourth class is called as aves. Now aves are nothing but birds, and here the skin is with feathers. Okay, and lastly are the nothing but that is mammals. Now when we consider mammals, skin is with hair. Got it? So this is all about classification of kingdom Animalia. Now suppose while drawing the chart of classification you made some mistake. It is obvious to make mistakes in this classification because classification chart, because it is such a large chart and difficult to fit in your notebook. So basically if you made some mistake while drawing it, go home, and or here also you can sit for some time and make the chart properly, because this chart is nothing but soul of your topic. Everything you are going to study with the help of chart. So try to understand it and make it properly. So I'll just take a quick revision of whole chart of the classification and then we'll go ahead. So kingdom Animalia classified into two large groups. One is called as non-chordates, absent, notochord absent, and another is chordates, notochord present. Non-chordates include 10 different phylums. Tell me which are these phylums in sequence? The sequence should be by heart to you. Porifera, Coelenterata, Cnidaria. The sequence should be by heart to you. Porifera, Cnidaria, Ctenophora, Platyhelminthes, Aschelminthes, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata and Hemichordata. Okay, then let us shift to the chordata. Now chordates only single phylum, that is chordata, classified into 3 subphylums. Which are those? Urochordata, Cephalochordata and Vertebrata. Okay, Urochordata, notochord is only at some stages of life. Cephalochordata, notochord is complete and throughout the life, and Vertebrata, notochord is replaced by vertebral column. Then we are going to study detailed classification only of Vertebrata. Now Vertebrata are classified in 2 divisions. 2 divisions. First one is Agnathostomata, another one is Gnathostomata. Agnathostomata only single class called as Cyclostomata, and Gnathostomata further divided into how many subdivisions? 2 subdivisions. Which are those? Pisces and Tetrapoda. Pisces further classification into classes. Which are the classes of Pisces? Chondrioctis and Osteoctis. Then Tetrapoda further classes? Amphibia, reptiles, aves and mammals. And what is the basis of classification for the Tetrapoda? Skin. It's what type of skin does they possess. Understanding? Clear about the classification? So look at the chart once again, try to understand it properly in your own language, and let us meet in the next video with each phylum, its characteristics and example. Till then, goodbye, take care.